So guys, let's go ahead with the process. First of all, okay, today we'll start with the the sessions and the session creation of the subscription. How to opt the subscription, everything I'll show you now. Prior to that, guys, let me just brush it up the things now. What we have seen so far, so that we can move further with the process. Okay, guys. So let's see here. Everyone. So guys, what is Azure Data Engineering? You know everyone, but just I'm brushing up once. Guys, Azure Data Engineering. So Azure stands for what, guys? It is the name used by the Microsoft, as already you know. Okay. Wherein data stands for what, guys? Data stands for information. Okay. Azure is nothing but the name used by the Microsoft. Azure is the name used by the Microsoft to market the cloud services. To market the cloud services. Okay. Like Birla is using the name called More. So for marketing their grocery stores. Here you have what it is. Azure is the name used by the Microsoft to market their cloud services with a name called Azure. Data is nothing but, guys, information. And engineering is nothing but, guys, application of what is it? Application of techniques. Application of techniques. So application of techniques on what? On the data. So we can say we can apply the technique on the data by using the Microsoft Azure. For what purpose, guys? For the purpose of data management. For the purpose of what? Data management. Wherein the Azure data engineering is nothing but what is it, guys? It is a bunch of cloud services. As you know, it is a bunch of cloud services. So what are the cloud services we have it, guys? We have many cloud services intact here. So that's, we can say what's it, guys? The first one is what? ADB. That is, we call it as what? Azure Databricks. The ADB stands for what, guys? Azure Databricks. Okay. Then we have the another service that we call it as what, guys? ADF, which stands for what, guys? Azure Data Factory, which stands for Azure Data Factory. And then we have what is it, guys? The next one is what? Synapse. So Synapse is nothing but basically Synapse is the data warehouse of Azure, guys. Data warehouse of Azure. Synapse is the data warehouse of Azure. So guys, are you aware of the data warehouse? What is a data warehouse? The full name of the, yes guys, the full name of the Synapse is what? It is called as Azure Synapse Analytics. So guys, now are you aware with the data warehouse? What is data warehouse, guys? Everyone, please respond. Yes guys, are you aware of the data warehouse? What is a data warehouse? Okay, anyways, so we have what is it? Synapse is the another one. Then apart from the Synapse, guys, then we have the next service that we can call it as what, guys? ADB, ADF, Synapse, and we can say Fabric is the another service. And then we have the AI. Many more services are there, but I'm just listing out few of it, guys. These all are nothing but together intact here into the Azure Data Engineering, which is called as a bunch of cloud services. So using these bunch of cloud services, we can perform for the management of data, we can perform the following tasks. What is it, guys? The first one is called as what? Data migration. Data migration. Then we have what is it, guys? Data integration. Then we have what is it, guys? Data summarization. Data migration, data integration, data summarization. And the next one we have it as what, guys? Data visualization. Data visualization. So these are all the, guys, these are all the tasks we can perform it for the management of the data using the Azure Data Engineering. So here, everyone, when we talk about, guys, the Azure data engineering. It is all about the data, guys. You know what is data? Data is nothing but, guys, information. So what are the sources of getting the information? Yes, everyone. What are the sources you can have it? Yesterday we have already discussed. So we can get the data from the social networking sites, that is called as Facebook, Twitter, etc. And then we can also get the data from the banking applications. We can get the data from the banking applications, and then we can also get the data from what's it, guys? It can be human generated data, or else it can also be the machine generated data. Human generated data means the data which is generated or created by the user, like you and me. Okay. And machine generated data is nothing but, guys, the data which is generated by the machines is called as what? Machine generated data. Such as you have the Xerox machine is there, you have a CT scan is there, okay, and ECG machine. All these are the machineries which generates the data. So hence it is called as what? Machine generated data. And then we can also have what's it is? Data generated by the IoT sensors. And then we can also say, guys, the data which is generated by the IoT sensors. And then we can also say, guys, the data which is generated by the IoT sensors and live stream data. We get it from the live streaming process. Live streaming means what, guys? Where you get the data on the continuous basis, just like the stock market you have it. Okay, stock market where every day, okay, every day what happens? The records will keeps on changing. The record keeps on changing here. Am I right? That is called as what? Live streaming data, where the data will be live, guys. Everything will be live. Okay. Just like you have the Bitcoin market is there right now. Even you have the stock market. All this comes under what, guys? Live streaming process only. All this comes under even the cricket match. We see the cricket. Am I right? Even the cricket match comes under the live streaming process, guys. Okay. So all this is the sources of getting the data. Whereas this data which we get it is referred as what, guys? Everyone. It is called as what? Big data. It is called as what, guys? Big data. So big data means what? Massive amount of data or huge volume of the data. And this data is classified into three categories. What are those three categories, guys? Can you tell me? Yesterday we have already discussed it. That is called as what? Structured data. Yes, guys. And what is the next type of data you have it, guys? Everyone? Structured data is there. Then we have the next type of data is what, guys? Semi-structured data. Yeah. Semi-structured data. And the final is what, guys? Unstructured data. So these are the three varieties of data we can have it. So you know already we have discussed this structured data. Structured data means what? The data which is kept in the proper form of a table. That is the table in the form of what, guys? Rows and columns. Rows and columns. The data which is kept in the proper form of rows and column, which does not require any further changes on the data, guys. Directly we can use the data for our process. That is called as what? Structured data. And semi-structured data means what? The data which is not fully, ready to use, but still we can understand the data. Okay. It has some structure, 50% of the data will be, we can understand. That is called a semi-structured. And semi-structured data will be recorded in the form of a JSON files, XML files, or else the HTML files, etc. These are all the formats we have it here, guys. Then apart from this, unstructured means what? There is no structure for the data. You have the voice notes in your mobile phone. You have the voice notes. Am I right? That is called as what? Unstructured. Chat histories will be there. It is called as what, guys? This is called as also the unstructured data. And photos. And then you have what, guys? Videos. All this comes under what is it, guys? All this comes under the unstructured data. All this comes under the unstructured data, guys. Now, everyone, we know what is the types of data we have it. Now, guys, as already we have, I told you just now before, Synapse is the data warehouse of Azure. So are you guys aware with the data warehouse? What is a data warehouse, first of all? It is very essential for us to know, guys, what is a data warehouse. If you are aware, then it's fine. Or else let me know. I will explain you what is data warehouse, first of all, in a very simplified manner. Yes, guys? Please respond.
Yeah, basically data warehouse is a database which is purely designed for querying and analysis purpose.
Exactly. So now some of you are not aware itself. So let's discuss it. Now, guys, I'll take an example. Data warehouse is nothing but database. Database is nothing but what is that, guys? Database is nothing but a place where information is recorded. A place where information is recorded. Database is nothing but a place where information is recorded in the form of a table. Is called as a database, where every database is classified into two categories or two parts, we can say. The first one, I can say it here, guys, everyone. The first one, I can say it as what? TDB, which stands for transaction database, everyone. It is called as what, guys? Transaction database. And the next part of the database is called as data warehouse, which is nothing but we also call as warehouse database, which is also called as warehouse database. Here, all what happened, summarized records are recorded. Summarized records are recorded here. Now, let us not go technically, but I will take you to a very simple, unsimplified manner. Now, everyone, let us say you have a book here, a textbook for the subject called English. Everyone, you have a textbook for the subject called English. Now, when you have a textbook for a subject called English, or you wanted to buy an English storybook, you have been to the book hosiery. Where is bookshop you have been? But there you can find many books, some hundreds of books are there. But now tell me, when you can find hundreds of books, how do you take the decision of purchasing the particular book? You have asked the shopkeeper, he showed you the books. He showed you some 100 books are there, let us say, for example. Now, out of those 100, which book do you want to purchase? How can you take a decision, guys? Is it possible for you to read the whole books at the shop itself? Not possible, now everyone. Not possible. So, whereas every book is classified or divided into two categories. What is that, guys? The first paper is a first part is called as index paper. Am I right? The first part is called as what? Index paper. The second part is called as what, guys? Detailed paper. There is detail. Detailed part. Now tell me, if you want to make a decision of purchasing, whether to purchase this book or not, if you want to, guys, everyone, if you want to decide whether you want to buy that book or not, what you will do? You will read the detailed book or you will read the index paper and take a decision. Tell me now.
We'll go through to the index and we'll
We'll go to the
verify the
index
content.
exactly because index only one paper you will have it. How it will be? It will be like this. Let us say the story is The Little Angel. Little Angel is a story, and the page number 1 to page number 15. Okay, likewise, all the stories covered will be given here in the index paper like this. Am I right? Now, the detail of this story will be starting from what? First paper till the 15th paper here. Okay, the story, this is the story of a, okay, little girl, etc., etc. The detailed story is there. Now, as you cannot read the whole story at the shop itself, simply you will refer the index paper and take a decision. So now, but if you wanted to know what is there in this particular topic, you have to go and read the detailed book. Am I right? In the same way here also, guys, here when we talk about the book, can we say the book is classified into two categories? Yes, index paper and the detailed part. The same way here also, guys, the database is like your book, wherein the index paper is nothing but index paper is nothing but it is just like your data warehouse, where guys, where you will read the index paper and take a decision of purchasing that book or not. Okay. Whereas the detailed story, whatever the story you have it, that will be recorded in the transaction database. It will be recorded in what, guys? Transaction database. Getting my point? So whenever you have any doubt about the data stored in the data warehouse, you will go and refer to the transaction database. And you can say the data, whatever it is recorded in the transaction database, is recorded in the summarized manner in the data warehouse. The same thing, guys. That's it. Now everyone is clear with the database and data warehouse case. Everyone, please respond. Is it clear now?
Yes.
Okay. So now, guys, this is the thing you have it. Now, okay. Now, guys, the next one, what is that you have it? As we were discussing about the data here, the data, big data is classified into three categories. What is that? That is called a structured, semi-structured, and as well as the unstructured data, guys. These are the three different categories of the data we can say. Now, this data we require to store it in Azure. This data we require to store it in the Azure. So when you wanted to store this detailed data, when you wanted to store the detailed data, everyone, when you wanted to store the detailed data, guys, when you wanted to store the detailed data, or whenever you wanted to store this data within the Azure, where do you store it? We can store the data into the Azure storages. Azure storages. What is Azure storages? We have a place to store the data into the cloud of Azure, that is called as Azure storages. And we have 90 plus Azure storages, guys. Different storages, where every storage is meant for storing the different type of data, such as the first storage of the Azure is called as what? Azure Blob storage. Blob storage, which stands for what, guys? Blob stands for binary large object. Binary large object, where Azure Blob storage is the storage where the data is recorded or stored, okay, in a very basic manner, where it can store any kind of data. Any kind of data in the sense, guys, it can store the structured data. It can store the structured data. It can store the semi-structured data. It can store the semi-structured data, or else it can also store the unstructured data, guys. Whatever the data, whatever the type of data you want, whether you want to store the data in the form of a rows and columns, whether you want to store the data in the form of JSON files or HTML files, or you wanted to store the data in the form of voice notes, chat histories, photos, videos, all this you can store it into the Azure Blob storage. But this is a very basic storage of Azure, which does not has that much configuration. It can store up to maximum of 500 TB, guys. You cannot store the data more than 500 TB. So hence, as you cannot store the data more than 500 TB, you cannot store the data more than 500 TB here, guys, in the Azure Blob storage. The Azure has introduced one more advanced storage, that is called as what, guys? Azure Data Lake Gen 2. Azure Data Lake Gen 2, where the Azure Data Lake Gen 2 is provided with the more, you can say, guys, unlimited storage is provided with the unlimited storage, where the same data can be stored here, where it is unlimited storage. Unlimited storage, where you have also, guys, unlimited storage. It is a next level storage, you can say, guys. The first basic level is what? Blob storage, and the next one is what is that, guys? Azure Data Lake Gen 2, where the data will be recorded in the DFS format. DFS format stands for what, guys? Everyone, distributed file format. Distributed file format. You can say distributed file format, Azure Data Lake Gen 2. Okay. Then the third type of a storage. Okay, what is distributed file format? We will see it in detail once we get into the subject. Now I don't want to confuse you guys. The Azure Data Lake Gen 2 is more advanced than the Azure Blob storage, where you have what? Unlimited storage. You can store any kind of data, structured, semi-structured, and unstructured. Then the next one you have it as what, guys? Azure SQL database. Means what, guys? Azure SQL database. Azure SQL means what, guys? On, within the on-premises environment, we call it as what? SQL server. We call it as what? SQL server. But this SQL server here, we refer it as what, guys? Azure SQL database on the cloud, where it can store only one kind of data. What is it, guys? Structured only, because it follows the COTS rules of storing a simple type of data that is called a structured data. Structured data means what, guys? You can store the data in the form of what? Tables. Okay, that is in the form of tables, and tables in the form of what is it, guys? Rows and columns. Rows and columns. The data will be recorded in the form of what? Rows and columns. And the fourth type of a storage, everyone. The fourth type of a storage, that is called as what, guys? Azure Blob storage, Azure Data Lake Gen 2, Azure SQL DB. And then you have, what is that, guys? The more advanced storage is introduced here. That is called as what? Azure Cosmos DB. Where the Cosmos DB is called as what, guys? Everyone, the Cosmos DB, we call it as what, guys? No SQL database. No SQL database. So as it is a no SQL database, everyone, as it is the no SQL database, everyone, as it is the no SQL database, as it is the no SQL database, guys, we can store two type of data here. What is that two type of, guys? We can store the structured and the semi-structured. That means we can store the data in the form of a tables, as well as we can store the JSON file, HTML file, and XML files. All this we can store it here, guys. That is called the Azure Cosmos DB. And the next storage also is there, guys, which we also call it here as a Azure MongoDB. Azure MongoDB. MongoDB is also same, guys, where this is also called as what? No SQL database, guys. It is also called as what? No SQL database. Hence, it can store the data in the form of what? Structured or the semi-structured. That's the one you have it. Okay, everyone. So this is also called as what, guys? No SQL database. Then the sixth storage is next one. You can say, guys, Azure Synapse Analytics. Azure Synapse Analytics means what, guys? We know, it is the data warehouse of Azure, and most of the times the data warehouse is the final layer of the data, where further you will not have the data. It is a final layer of data. So when your final layer means what? By default, okay, guys, when your final layer means what, guys? By default, you can store only, guys, by default, you can store only, everyone, by default, we can store only, what is it, guys? Structured data. By default, you can store only structured data, guys. By default, we can store only structured data. There is no other format here. By default, we can store only what, guys? Structured data. So that is called as what? Azure Synapse Analytics. So here, most of the times, it can store only what is that, guys? Structured data is stored here. Structured data. Azure Synapse Analytics, where this is also called as what, guys? Data warehouse of Azure. It is called as data warehouse of Azure, guys. And the seventh one, you can say, guys, likewise, Azure. Okay, guys, we can say Azure virtual machine. That means we can parallelly start a machine, one more machine, that is called as a virtual machine. And we can design this machine for what is it, guys? For file system. That means all the files we can use it here. Whatever the file, CSV, HTML, XML files, we can use it. Or else we can also use it for SQL Server database. Parallel virtual machine, you can design it. That means you can use the on-premises SQL Server here directly by using the Azure virtual machine as well. So these are some of the storages, guys. And now these storages are common for all the services. Whether we use the service called ADF, Azure Data Factory, or you use the service called what's that, ADB, Azure Databricks, or you use the service called what, Synapse, these are common for always, common for all. So that means storages only this Azure provides, this is the storage, and these storages you can use it for what, any type of, guys, we can use this storages for what, storing the data here. So this is the basic storages, you can say, guys, some of the frequently used storages, you can say. Whereas now to how to start with the process, everyone, first of all, use the azure.com, the website, you can type it here. And now I will start the process as well parallelly so that you can have a view on this, guys. I'll start up a browser. I'll start the browser, guys. I'm sharing the screen once again. Now, guys, here you type it as azure.com. Everyone is able to see the screen now?
Yes.
Azure.com. So use it here. This is the azure.com. So this is the getting started with Azure. Whether you wanted to use any service, you can use it like this. Okay, getting started with Azure, guys. So click on the getting started with Azure. Get started with Azure. You have to basically, the modules, you can say you can pick up either the free or the pay as you go. Free, only one time it will provide you for one mail ID. It will provide you only one time, guys. So if you're using the same mail ID, it won't allow you. So basically only one time you can use it here. Free will be for 1 month. After that, you have to convert your thing to the paid service. So I'm using the click on the try for free. Now it will reroute you back to the sign up. Just like, you take the subscription for Amazon Prime, or you take the subscription for the Netflix. Okay. So you have to give your mobile number, and you have to give your, the mail ID, and as well as the card details, etc., etc., everything. So as already I'm registered, it says this is the mail ID, and we will send a code to this. If I click on this code, it will reroute. So after that, you have to give the details. Only details will be there, guys. That is nothing but your address, your mail ID, your debit or credit card details. You can use it. Initially, for the free subscription, it uses only 2 rupees, guys. It uses only 2 rupees. And that will also be refunded to you in the within 8 to 10 days, it will be refunded. But totally, it will be free, guys, for free subscription. And once the free subscription is completed, so it won't charge you automatically unless until you authorize it. Even though you're giving the debit or credit card information, it won't charge you on your debit or credit card, guys. Make sure it won't charge you automatically. So you have to do what? You have to authorize it, then only it will charge. Okay, so then you have to authorize it, will charge. Oh, so finally, once everything is done, guys, so it will reroute you back to this page. This is called as a portal.azure.com. Very simple process, guys, on this. So you can use all the details, you can provide it here, and finally it will reroute back to the portal.azure.com. Portal.azure.com. So this is the page you have it. Everyone see here? This is the page you have it. This is called as portal.azure.com page. Portal.azure.com is the page you have it. Now everyone, portal.azure.com, wherein, I wanted to start the service called Databricks. So you can type it here, Databricks. It's here, Azure Databricks, it says. So now we have to start the service. So we can click on the create service. We can start the service. So by providing the things, we can provide the service here. In the same way, if you wanted to start the data factory, click on the data factory. See here, the data factory, you have to create the data factory service. Everything will be empty, guys. So how to create, what are the process, that we will see it in the due course of time. Okay. So this are the, you can see it in the same way. If you want to start the Synapse, Azure Synapse Analytics, you can start the Azure Synapse Analytics. In the same way, guys, if you want to use the Fabric, Microsoft Fabric will be there. This is the fabric. You will have to create the fabric service here. Okay. So can you share Azure fabric you have seen, and then you have in the same way you have AI searches there. If you want to use the Azure AI, you have to click on the Azure AI search, and then you can select the service which you want to do it, and click on the create. It will search for the which service you require it. You have to provide the things, and it will create it. Anyways, we will see the things one by one. Okay. So these are all the services we can use it here on this, guys. This is the page ultimately. Okay. So basically, the subscription and all, just to click on the subscription, it will charge you. If you're using the paid subscription, it will charge you basically, around you will have, can you see mine, it will, because I am using this for the training purpose, so this will cost me around 5,000 to 6,000 every month. But for you guys, what happens if you, because you don't use the that much very rigorously, it may charge 1,500 to 2,000 if you go for the paid also. If you don't want to use the paid, try with the free subscription. You change the mail ID every time and create a new subscription. So that will also work for you guys. Okay. So these are the things we have it, guys. Tomorrow we'll start with the first practicals on this, guys. Okay. We'll start with the first practical. And we are going to start with the service called what, everyone? The Databricks is the service we are going to start here. Azure Databricks. So Azure Databricks, we are going to see it on a language called, what is it, guys? PySpark. Databricks, we are going to see it on the PySpark language, guys. PySpark is a language we have it. Okay. So that's the thing you have it, guys. So tomorrow we'll start with the Azure Databricks. Will be the first session for tomorrow's session. Okay. That's it. And the timings will be 7 to 8 will be the
I
standard
have
time. Yeah.
one.
Yeah, please, please.
Yeah, I have one. So we are going to cover ADB, ADF, and Synapse fabrics. All we are going to cover, right?
Yes,
Starting
yes.
from data migration, integration to
Yes, yes,
visualization,
yes.
right?
Yes, yes, exactly.
Okay. And we'll be covering PySpark plus Spark SQL or only PySpark too?
PySpark. PySpark
PySpark.
plus Spark SQL also I'll show you.
Oh,
Both will be included in the Databricks. PySpark and Spark SQL also be
Spark.
covered. Okay.
Got it.
So this is the one. And in the same way, guys, in the same way, first what we will do, we'll start with the Databricks. And after 15-20 days, what we will do, parallelly, we'll start with the ADF also. How we will start the ADF at 8 p.m. Why? Because the subject is very vast, guys. The subject is very vast. And if you really want to get into this to get a job, definitely you have to spare much time. So if we go with this, it will take much time for you to complete, because uh, this will parallelly you can have it, okay, ADF at 8 p.m. So parallelly we can just complete it. So we can complete all these things within 45 days to 60 days. We can complete ADF and ADB. And for Synapse and Fabric, it will not take much time, because I'll give you the Fabric and AI, all this, the basic introduction to how to build an application part I'm telling you. So that will not take much. But these are the two very vast things you have it. So in the same way, if 8 o'clock is not feasible for you, okay. So in such case, what you can do, you can go with the ADB regular session, and ADF you can take the videos. If you're not, recorded videos will be there, or live videos. I'll share it with you guys so that you can complete it. So in the same way, this is the one you have it, because the duration span is very, complete the defined portion, what industry requires. As per the industry requirement only, we will see it here. Okay. So that is a reason why, the time will be more on this. Okay. So that is the thing you have it. And apart from this, guys, and the resume planning, all this generalized support I will give you on this. Okay. And in the same way, if you want some more recorded videos of mine, you want to see it live right now. So this is my YouTube channel. Okay, this is my YouTube channel. You can see this. Okay, the YouTube channel. I'm just sharing it to you on in the chat box, guys. This is my YouTube channel. You can use it here. In the same way, guys, everyone. In the same way, If you want to get in touch with me directly, this is my number. So this is +91 if you're calling out of India, 9515 240 300. This is my number, direct number. You can call me here for any queries and this thing. And from tomorrow, we will start the practical sessions. Okay? And from tomorrow onwards, it will be paid link, guys. Okay. The demos and yeah, it will be paid
Yeah,
link
I have
from.
one question.
Yeah, please.
So we are going to provide the recorded video. So how much times it will have the access for us?
For 1 year.
Okay.
For 1 year. That is